It is the week of March 30th, and the studio is very busy. There is a lot going on. This past week, I couldn't help but think about a movie called Under the Tuscan Sun, because in a lot of ways, this week and how I feel very much relates to the main character of that movie. Her name is Frances, I think. Basically, and I won't give any spoilers, Frances gets a divorce. This is how the movie begins. And I'll give one spoiler. She impulsively purchases a villa in Italy while she's supposed to be on a trip out of the United States in order to start to get over her divorce that is like active and ongoing. And one moment in the movie, she's basically dealing with all of these fraught emotions of impulsively buying this villa, which needs so many repairs. And there's a moment where she's like, and I need to rent a taxi or a car so that way I can drive off a cliff once this all doesn't work out. And another character in the movie, Martini, ends up saying, Signora, between Austria and Italy, there is a section of the Alps called the Semmering. It is an impossibly steep, very high part of the mountains. They built a train track over those Alps to connect Vienna and Venice. They built these tracks even before there was a train in existence that could make the trip. They built it because they knew someday the train would come. And this is the quote I have found myself thinking of for the entire week, because in a lot of ways, I relate to Frances right now. I am building a painting practice where I still have not finished these two paintings. These two paintings are my first paintings back, trying to work and make work. And at the same time, what you just saw me sketching out earlier were plans to create a, what's it called? I mean, it's a cart, but a caddy, a caddy for a printer that I purchased. And this printer is very much like Frances's villa in Italy, because I am going to make prints and I'm going to sell prints and I'm going to run an art business in that way, because it is related to the ethos of my practice to get my physical artwork in front of as many eyes as possible in order to help envision a new or revised or sustainable or equitable or any version of that kind of living system in front of people to help start to inform them or people about what really is possible for all of the ways that we can live our lives. And here you can see I am beginning to build that caddy, which is why this week is extremely busy, because not only am I creating the landing pad for this printer, I'm doing it before the printer arrives, and I'm getting this printer before I basically have a grown audience. I think I have like definitely currently on Instagram less than 80 followers. It's pretty small. And yeah, but I wanted to talk about this because even though I don't feel ready, I know that readiness or the feeling of preparedness arrives after you begin. There have been so many moments in my life where it's kind of like you have to just go for it. I remember when I was in high school, I had recently come out as a sophomore, and this is like near the end of the year, academic year, and I was saying no to everything I didn't want to do anymore, which included sports and trying to fit in with people I didn't like, etc. Classic high school stuff. But there's this one moment leaving school where it's kind of like a decision arrives fully embodied. And I remember looking at the track because I used to do field and track as I was leaving and thinking about my future and knowing that there is nothing else I would rather do than paint. And fast forward, I studied architecture anyway, and then I still practice as an architect, and here I am not doing that and beginning from scratch again at 27. So I'm at that point again of arriving at a fully embodied knowing that this is 110% possible and that I have the faculties in order to make it work. Does that mean I feel ready? No, it does not. I am taking a risk, and at the same time, pushing myself by getting this printer. I could very easily try and remain in a state of preparedness and not get this printer until I felt completely ready, but I know that feeling of being completely ready will never arrive. Much like I decided one day in high school that I was going to be an artist. In that moment that I decided, I did not feel in any way that I was an artist in terms of like my skill set. But what I did afterwards was completely informed by that decision. My decision again is to be an artist and to make it work and to have me painting be what supports my livelihood. And currently, I'm trying to do it as fast as possible. So, between this week and next week, I will be setting up different products, trying to finish those two paintings, setting up my website finally, setting up an online shop, doing all the renovation work to the villa that I bought in Italy, and facing the challenges as they come. There's one scene in the movie where literally it's like the tower card because I'm pretty sure lightning strikes a washer machine and like goes flying in the air or something. And it's just ridiculously hilarious. This giant storm just completely bearing down on the villa. And Frances is just cowering in her bedroom, like, what have I done? Why am I here? There are a lot of other good quotes from this movie. I'm trying not to spoil anything, but one of the good quotes, additionally, also here's the printer. It's huge. The Canon Pro 1100. I got this printer because it will support me doing fine art prints or archival level prints that are giclée quality, which requires more than 6 inks or pigments for the printer because it is a pigment-based printer, and it requires a paper with GSM above 250, basically, which I am in the process of acquiring. And it's able to do a variety of sizes, but not poster size, so I'll still have to outsource that. Anyway, one of the last quotes from Under the Tuscan Sun, amazing movie, I highly recommend watching it, is, I believe Frances is talking to this older woman who's kind of like the future version of herself in a way. And this older woman was talking about how when she was a kid, she would go into the backyard and she would go searching for ladybugs, and she would search all afternoon for these ladybugs, and she wouldn't be able to find a single one. And when she finally stopped searching and she was so tired, she just fell asleep in the grass. She woke up and she was covered in ladybugs, which is another metaphorical side story to say that all you have to do is show up. You cannot force an outcome, and often what you're looking for will arrive when you are not forcing it to happen. And so that's also what I'm trying to remind myself this entire week, where I will accept the outcomes as they arrive, and I will still maintain my goals. And I'll show up to those goals through just being my authentic self. And that's the only way to do it. And to trust that even though I'm building a train track across the Alps with no train, that one day the train will arrive. So that's it for this week. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe. As always, I post every Thursday in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, let's see how April goes. Bye.